probably the number one argued whatever topic. What's the most important thing in golf? Grip. That always pops up. I happen to think that's probably correct. Probably. So when you go down to the store and you buy a set of golf clubs, you got grips on them, hopefully. So then when you look at the grips, there's usually markings of like, hey, where should we put our thumb, right? You got a center line. And if you've ever put a set of grips on, you put the toe of the club straight up and you put the grip on straight. How many people, I'm going to answer this 100%. How many people actually put their thumb in the center of their grip where the thumb is marked to go, or the spine? Nobody. Right. So I noticed that one day. I'm like, why the hell is my wear mark over here? You know, I play a set of grips for years. And so I have always used cords, but you can see there's no wear mark, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I take a set of victories or decades or something like that. Anyway, so the point is no good player puts their thumb on the center of the grip where the grip is designed to show you where to put the thumb. So I was like, that's really weird. Why are we putting our grips on here? Because we don't hold it there. And then when you put a reminder or whatever else they got going, at a tour level, we have to be very careful when we put reminders on grips for tour players. That's a big, big deal. But so the point is, so I see the majority of people when I play with somebody doesn't know who I am and I'm just watching them, and they hold the club the same way with their driver, their 4 hybrid, their 6 iron, their wedge. They always tend to have the same grip. And so when I was cleaning my clubs one day, we've all done this. You lay your clubs across the kitchen counter with the heads hanging off, right, and the grips hanging off the other side, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking at all my heads, and I have my driver on the far left, and I recommend everybody do this. And everybody that listens to this, should take your golf bag out as you're listening and start laying your clubs across the table if you want to have some real fun. So you're going to lay your clubs all across the table, and then you're going to look at them, and you're going to notice that they don't hang at the same angle. Your driver and maybe your sand wedge, and depending on your 3-wood. So the faces will all cross over and tilt one way. So a driver is going to be like this. Your pitching wedge is going to be like this. Your 5 iron is going to be more down here. And so what that's showing everybody is where the center of gravity is located. And when you hang a golf club off a table, the center of gravity is going to find the lowest point every time. So when you look down the shaft, like if you stand up above all the clubs hanging off the table and you put your eyeball on a plumb, I guarantee you that the center of gravity is in that vertical axis hanging right below the shaft of the golf club, somewhere on that head. But it's in that line, guaranteed. So at that point, you have to realize none of your clubs are hanging at the same place. And if you take them while they're hanging off and take your finger and I don't know if you can see this, but if you take a golf club and you just grab it and you roll it like that till it's vertical, you feel that torque.
Yep.
That's your workability. And if you take a club and you put it straight up and down, you feel this torque because it wants to go backwards. If you're over, it's going to go forward. That's basically tells you how forgiving a golf club is, because it tells you where the CG is deeper away from the shaft. So there's 2 factors of torque in a golf club. There's forgivingness and there's workability. You can use torque to pick up both dimensions and actually map your irons. And that's my next kind of endeavor in the golf industry. So again, I just recommend that people take all their golf clubs, lay them across the table. You're going to look at them and go, shit, none of them are the same.
Wow.
So I want to basically design a set of irons that has the same torque profile wave throughout the set. Instead, when you go to your driver, your 3-wood, your 5-wood, there's a gap from your hybrid to about your 9-iron where they're all hanging at different angles. So basically with your driver, because when you hang it across the table, you'll see it's more crossed over this way, about the same as your wedge. You should be holding the club, your grip, the strength of your left thumb, with your wedge the same as your driver. And if you take that same grip strength and you hit a 5-iron or a long iron or a hybrid that hangs more straight down, I promise you, all things being equal, that ball will go right, because the radius and the ulnar are not preloaded to manage that torque at a high rate of speed with lack of tension. It's basically stored energy that you don't need to contract a muscle to create supination, pronation. The elasticity in your joints does it. So that's one of the things I really am fascinated with these days. Obviously still doing stuff in putters, but face it, and then how we manage our grip. And the reason why I really got onto this, I'll be honest with you, I play persimmons and I play titanium often, all of them. And if I take the same grip with my old Hogan driver, I would take these two, right? Now, if I just hang these, you can see
the driver on the Callaway looks like it's more this, for the persimmon's more this.
Yeah, you see it's over this way more?
Yep, this is the Callaway, this is the persimmon approximately.
Right? Yep. So if I take the same grip with both these drivers and hit them, if I take the same grip with my titanium as I do with my persimmon, this is going to go right. If I take the same grip with my persimmon as I do the titanium, it's going to go left. And the reason why is you can see those torque angles are different. So you can't take the same grip and expect the same shot. Just can't.
So you're saying basically every club in theory has its own grip, slightly variated from one club to another. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you don't have just one grip. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. But it makes sense.
Yeah. So when I put grips on for people, I align the grips to the center of gravity of the head, so that when they put their thumb on the grip, they know that the tendon of their left thumb, and this is just, again, this is my personal opinions, the tendon of your left thumb should be aligned with the center of gravity plane of the golf club. That way, when you go into rate of acceleration, when you start accelerating it, the CG is in line with your thumb. So then the shaft stabilizes. The CG is not trying to create torque, trying to track itself back onto the plane of acceleration down to the ball. And so you see, at the top of the swing, if a driver face looks slightly closed, that's probably good, because the CG is right there. And so when you looked at this, when I look at a driver, or I'm teaching, if this is square, that's how much I expect the face of the driver to be closed at the top of his swing if somebody really wants to hit a lot of fairways. Because when you start accelerating this, if this is like this, and I take the handle and I start accelerating that, this CG, if it's like this, and I start accelerating, the CG is going to swing over to right there, which is going to start creating a closing torque on the golf shaft. So there's all sorts of stuff. And when you look at Dustin Johnson, who is arguably probably the best wedge player, and he spent a lot of time out there. He plays with a closed club face. But you'll find is that the really good players, they're accurate and consistent. Consistent is the big one. They have their club face. They just figured it out. Whether they feel it, they don't care. They don't even know. But you'll find that a square club face is not necessarily optimal as far as a golf club is concerned. As far as our eyes and the paradigm of what looks good, yeah, it's square. The face is flat to the plane, but I personally don't believe that that's optimal anymore. Just through my torque meter projects playing and visual confirmation, you can see it.